Hi everyone, how's it going? So I'm just editing this video at the moment. February 2023 is coming up. I can't believe it's February already. So yeah, I'm just completing this. Yeah, it was a lot quicker than I expected it to be. I got everything filmed and wrapped up in one night. So it's just a matter of getting the last minute things done, and then it will probably be up by tomorrow, February 2023, everyone. So yeah, that's getting done. Things are going well. Empress Justice Tarot is evolving, as am I, as a targeted individual. There's still a lot of mind games going on. It's not necessarily the family, because the kids are still doing what they do, but the family is kind of muted in what they're doing at the moment. But there's other stuff going on. There's like, the postmen are, I don't know if they're being asked to knock louder than they should, but it seems like every single time they don't get a reaction out of me, it's a big deal. And it's not the postmen that are actually causing it. It just seems like they were supposed to upset me and they didn't upset me, so they get shit for it. So it's weird. It's like the postmen are knocking more than louder than they should. Not necessarily under orders, but they're asked to do that. And then you've got other neighbors around here who for some reason, they keep knocking on the glass downstairs, because downstairs there's like how do I describe it? It's like the entrance to a greenhouse. So it's like downstairs there's like glass at the bottom. I'm sure a lot of people have lived in a building like this, right? So one of the neighbors just keeps knocking on the glass downstairs in order to wake me up. And they usually do it when I'm already awake, but I'm kind of like, bleh. So they usually do it when I'm already awake anyway. And they do it to try and get a rise out of me as well. And it's like, this is why I'm kind of not understand. Well, let's be real about the situation. Just like the family upstairs or the kids upstairs blame me for all of their fuck shit, there are other gang stalkers around this neighborhood that are blaming the family for what's happening. It's always the people who are the most honest, or who have the biggest mouths, that catch the blame for everyone else. I've maintained from the beginning that these people, this family, were not the only people involved. There have been people coming over here who have been well involved in this shit, and have been trying to engage in a smear campaign in order to blacken my name around this fucking village. Okay? So it was never just this family. I've said it from the beginning. It was never just them. They are weaponized irritants, and they are fall guys. They're loud. They can't control their emotions. They are easy fall guys and there are plenty of people like them. They are perfectly expendable. The ones that you can't replace, like the real psychopaths, because they don't give a damn about what anybody thinks about what they're doing, it's very, very hard to emotionally lean on them. It's hard to get them to care about what people think about what they do. The only thing they care about is whether or not you fuck with their money. But the people closest to me, they are always louder, they are always more emotional, they are always more vulnerable in some way. They always have something against them used as blackmail, 9 times out of 10. So I don't get why the family is always to blame for what's going on when there are other people around this neighborhood who have been involved. It's just that this family is easy to hide behind. And for the record, the landlords are up to something too. There's no way they're not. I've asked for certain repairs to be done, and it's been weeks now. There's a leaky tap in there. Tap's still leaking. Sent a report weeks ago. They don't normally take weeks to get back to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even if like the plumber hasn't gotten back to them yet, they don't normally take weeks to get back to me. That means they're relying upon this family and the other neighbors around here to send me crazy enough to get me sectioned so that they can get me to another address. Like, I'm sorry, is it me or is this called trafficking? Even if I was genuinely ill and had paranoid schizophrenia and had BPD and had all of these things, it's one thing for you to get somebody treatment because you want the best for them. And it's another thing to try to wear down on their emotions, assault their senses constantly so that you can drive them mad, ergo harm their health, just so that you can get them from one place to another. That's trafficking. That's trafficking. You're taking away somebody's human rights so that you can move them from A to B on your terms. That's fucking trafficking. I don't care what anybody says. And a lot of people are going to turn around and say, well, it doesn't involve like you having your asshole burned with a red hot pincer, so it can't possibly be trafficking. Like, you people really need to catch wise. You need to catch wise. Bruises on your body aren't the only red flags out there. And being physically violated is not the only red flag out there. Like, clearly there's an attempt to traffic me. Again, I could be completely ill. I could be completely ill. I'm not, but I could be, right? I'm not as ill as people are making me out to be, but I'm not as well as my masking allows you to think that I am. But even if I was every inch as mentally ill as people claim me to be, the trolling when it comes to my so-called schizophrenic symptoms, the trolling I've been getting online, the mind games that are being played by my landlords, by the neighbors around here, put it all together, it doesn't add up. That's not the behavior of people who are concerned for you and who actually care for you. That's not the behavior of people who have your best interests in mind. Honestly, that's the kind of behavior of people who are trying to traffic you. And it's normally for the pettiest reasons as well, because again, the people closest to you, they're usually the loudest, most vulnerable, and they usually react to the first sign of provocation. Like, who better to get next to me than somebody like that? So this family is out here being blamed for everything. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Just because you're loud and just because you talk shit, it doesn't automatically mean you're the biggest villain out there. This ain't my first rodeo. They're not the only ones here who are racist. And they know that too. They're not the only ones here who are racist. They're not the only ones here who like talk shit. They're not the only ones here who've used mental health slurs. But everybody else around the village has been hiding behind them, looking for someone to blame. Well, that is everyone involved in the stalking, because truth be told, not everybody in this village is involved in the stalking. Some of them don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'm trying to open this thing. Hang on. I'm trying to open my apple juice. I need some apple juice in my system. I'm kind of addicted to it. That's one of my toxic traits, is my addiction to apple juice. And it's the good stuff as well. Look, check this out. Can you guys see me? Look. Capella. Capella is it's not the original, but it is the best. I love this shit. And I drink it whole. I shouldn't, but I do. So I don't understand why these particular people are catching the blame for everything. But at the same time, I do understand. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand because it never stops being confusing to me. But then I do understand because I've been here before. And again, it's always the loudest ones with it's always the most loudest, desperate people that they get next to you. And It's usually those people that end up being run into the ground trying to get to me, to the point where they drive themselves crazy, obsessing over why I'm not upset. So it's annoying to deal with. I can't say it's not. It's highly annoying to deal with, and it's highly draining to deal with this childish shit every day. But then again, people got a lot to be scared of. They got a lot to be scared of. There's a lot of people in London and in Brighton who have been involved in the unlawful trafficking of people and using mental health to do it. A lot of people. And as our society continues to be militarized, it's getting more blatant. Do you remember what I said to you before about how, how poverty will get worse and all the rest of it? Do you remember how I told you about, remember what I told you about the after effects of war, or the effects of what happens during war, right? There's one thing that I forgot to mention in that video. And what I forgot to mention was this, right? Remember Nazi Germany, right? Remember Nazi Germany. Think about the first group of people that were rounded up and that were discriminated against before the Jews were. It was the mentally feeble. It was people who were diagnosed mentally feeble. So these days, it would be immigrants, then it would be the mentally ill, and then it would be undesirables who are citizens of this country, but white supremacy doesn't want them, and on it goes. So immigrants were already the first target of this type of trafficking, and it is trafficking. And now it's mentally ill people, or people who are diagnosed as mentally ill. Get those people out the way. Get the anti-war people out the way. Get anybody who is alert to how the world works. Get them out the road. Get them out the way real quick. Get them all the way out the way. And then they get to work on the rest of the population. Unless I'm mistaken. I could look it up. Let me see. That's why when people started talking about how trans people are mentally ill and mentally disturbed, I'm like, I'm listening, because I know it's not going to stop there. Let me just look. And I'm not trans, right? A lot of people have said that I am, in a bid to try to defeminize me, but I'm not trans. I just understand how this world works and exactly where all of this is going. So it's like, let me just see. Let me look it up. So I think Hitler's first targets were mentally feeble people. Just like now, you've got people being rounded up into hospital when they're not even sick. The slightest provocation from any arsehole, and they can have you diagnosed as mentally ill with no real proof. None. Absolutely no proof, not even a CAT scan. They can get you taken in based on a speculative diagnosis with no fucking CAT scan, nothing to ascertain where, damage to the brain was being caused. And and whether or not the symptoms that the doctors are proposing actually match the injuries of the brain. Like, there's none of that. Yeah. So those are one of the first people to go. The ones who are diagnosed mentally ill, not actually mentally ill, but the ones who are diagnosed mentally ill. Who's diagnosed mentally ill? The ones who don't properly adjust to a system that ironically was created by psychopaths or maintained by psychopaths. So, so the same people who maintain this society, who by their own admission would fail their own, who would fail their own tests in terms of sanity or, having a personality disorder, they would fail themselves, and they're telling you what you have. So they can round you up and displace you and put you anywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see it all unfold right in front of me. There are so many people who are involved in this type of trafficking against people. I know these motherfuckers by name. And I've mentioned those names before. I could mention them again, but there's a lot more to uncover first. And, and speaking of this family, this is going to be the first time I've really talked about them much in like a couple of weeks now, because I've just been so busy. And it's got nothing to do with me, but then these stupid kids are outside saying, oh, she's the one who's crazy. I haven't been talking about you. Crazy about what? I haven't been talking about you. You're what, about what? I mean, sure, I could be crazy, but about what? I haven't been talking about you. I ain't said shit to you or about you. Just constant obsession. It's ridiculous. And all the while, again, people are blaming me. I didn't tell you to traffic nobody. I didn't tell you to do that. Nobody told you to traffic anybody. I said, look, I don't want to be around people who are harassing me. And I've tried to give people a number of options to deal with this peacefully, without trafficking, without mind games, without trying to make anybody ill or harm anybody's health. I am the one. Not anybody else around here. I'm the one. As usual. And it was the same with Brent Mind in London. It was the same when I was living with my dad. I'm the one suggesting healthier options and healthier alternatives. But no, everybody would rather be a trafficking piece of shit. That's on you. Everybody would rather side with Nazism, rather side with genocide. That's on you. It's got nothing to do with me. Sorry. Anyway, I think the stabilization is complete on one of these things. I'm just editing some clips right now. This is really, really quick, actually. Normally it takes all day. But then it is quite a short clip. So yeah, I'm just editing right now. And the tarot community, or some groups of the tarot community, are actually aware of they're actually aware of my other channels where I talk about the targeted community. And at first I was like, I don't want them seeing that because I represent myself in a way that I don't really like. Or every time I talk about gang stalking, I represent myself in a way that I don't think people will accept me for. But then I have to think to myself, it's the fucking truth. And at the end of the day, I didn't cause it. So why am I gonna hide it? It doesn't make any sense. I still get electronically tortured, by the way. I think I get tortured like here, like where I'm showing you. I get tortured here and here a lot, like around the lower back. I don't feel like it's just muscle that they're attacking. I think they're attacking organs as well. But when it comes to that part of the body, I'm never really good with biology. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I'm just doing my little thing right now, you know, doing my little thing. Because the thing is, if I'm going to be tortured to death and trafficked and shit, I might as well just try to make myself happy. But again, like people are blaming me as if I'm the one who said, oh, please traffic me. Like, what? I just wanted to have a life without being tortured. That's all I wanted. So anyway, I gotta go. I gotta get on with the rest of this editing and see what's going on here. But thank you for sticking with me. I love you guys so much. Peace and blessings. Bye bye.